What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and this is a spoiler recap for Evil Season 2, Episode 5, Z is for Zombie. We have tried to put these words together, and to me, they don't spell anything. If you have put the words together for these titles, and you came up with something, please let me know in the comment section. I love this episode, and I'm going to tell you why right after this. What up to all my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the best of Don Tony Teflon. And if you can, please subscribe, click that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And thumbs up this video so YouTube will push this video out to the masses. As always, 500 is the goal. Now, it is very hard for TV shows to take modern day situations and weave them into supernatural events. But this is exactly what this TV show did this week, and they did it better than I've ever seen a TV show do it at all. Now, when you're a fan of a certain genre, most of the times that starts when you're a child. You know, it starts if you like comic book movies, you like comic books when you're a child, so you like the movies when you grow up. And if you're a horror fan, you liked it when you were a child. You started watching things and you liked being scared. That's what we see in this episode right off the bat. The child's mind is a wonderful thing, because when you are a child, you still believe that anything could happen, anything is possible. And Lila and Alex were believing all about their zombies and was all about the zombie stories, and thought that they were truly seeing zombies because they were watching horror flicks about zombie. Well, one specific horror flick about a zombie. But in the end, when the truth came to light, when they finally figured out exactly what was going on, you could say that the real life situation was scarier than the zombie situation that they thought they were actually witnessing. Now in this episode, they go after the real life distribution centers. I specifically think they're talking about Amazon, but Amazon isn't the only distribution center. You have Walmart, you have Target, and during the COVID-19 situation, if any one of your family members or you yourself worked in one of these places, then you know exactly how this man felt and how it was working in one of those places. So Alex's dad, Brandon, worked for Congo Run, made-up competitor under a slave driver named Mr. Hamlin. Now, as we know from horror stories, from Amazon warehouses, I myself worked in a couple of these warehouses, to keep a steady pace and 2 days a week delivery, companies run their employees under the ground. And that is no lie. The stories you hear about people peeing in bottles and all that, drivers do have to do this. And when COVID hit, I'm telling you, and that world was on lockdown, there seemed to be no end in sight for this situation. It just seemed like warehouse employees had to work almost 24 hours a day. It was back before they had, like unions to stop people from working. You were working overtime, mandatory overtime, 2 days a week, and both days were supposed to be your days off. It was just terrible. Now, Evil depicted these warehouse workers as zombies who work for the company Congo Run, but that depicted back to Congo slave drivers who truly worked their slaves so hard that they thought death was a better way to go. They were scared out of the idea when tales told them that suicide would make them turn into zombies, and then they would not be able to rest eternally in heaven or hell. So seeing her father in this state, she truly started to believe that her father was not himself, that his father had become a zombie. So they go off to this witch doctor, we could call her a witch doctor if you want, and she gave them 2 vials, one blue and one green, one to give to the zombie and one to give to the slave driver. Now, did this potion actually work? Is that what happened? Most likely not, but we did get the results as if something did happen because of it. Because whether it was the potion or whether her father was just so exhausted, he wound up missing or being late for work, missing work that day, which saved him because there was some type of gas leak there that everybody got poisoned, and he would have been one of the people that would have been poisoned also, and lungs messed up if he would have made it to work that day. So when you're a child and your mind is filled with wonder, when they seen this happen, they believe that, hey, it was our potion saved my father. Look at that. We did something great. We're going out here, we're busting zombies. And these girls are all excited about it. This then led to her father trying to unionize his distribution center, but while he was going through that, one of the slave drivers union people show up and then basically tell him to shut it down. They then use the other vial, put it in the guy's gum, and lo and behold, after this situation, the next day or so, the owner of the company comes and offers that man's job to her father. So it looks like everything is going to be great, and they did a great job busting the zombie and the slave driver. But in the end, reality sets in, because you heard the old adage, meet the new boss just like the old boss. And even though you were one of those workers, when you were raised to the position, you could see that he turns into his old boss, and he turns into a slave driver. And now she's scared, like, oh my God, my father is exactly what the slave driver was. Driving home the point that there is nothing that a human being will not do to another human being and inflict horror upon another human being in order for themselves to get ahead and step on anybody that they have to get ahead, no matter what they've been through. Now, usually the same premise is crossed over in the other storyline, and we think that that's what's going to happen when you deal with David and his concerns about the father. I mean, you would think that somehow it's some type of zombies that's hurting this guy, because, you know, what else is going to create these open wounds on this priest's back? Now, we know that when our team goes out there and they do assessments, we know that David is the one who always thinks it's caused by some supernatural, some spirit, some demon. And then we have Kristen, who always thinks that somehow it's psychological breakdown, and that's where it goes to. That is why it is so important that we have Ben involved in this situation. And Ben shines this episode, even though they tried to leave him home. They tried to say, maybe you need to take a break. Thank God for them that they didn't. Thank God, no pun intended. But they didn't bring him on, because Ben is the one who always takes the more practical approach, pushing back on the supernatural and the psychological, and truly just looking at what the hell's right in front of your face, the practical reason why this happened. Now, when we deal with in our real world, as I said, it's very hard to put real world stuff in a show like this, but they did a great job, especially when we pointed to algorithms and target marketing. And that is just, if not more, frightening than any zombie you could think of. I mean, how many times have you been there when you thought of something or typed something in your phone, and then all of a sudden on your Facebook feed, here comes an ad for this product? And it happens all the time. And they did a great showing this in the show, because we have to truly understand everything we do online is tracked. And sometimes you don't even have to be online to be targeted, because if you buy something with your debit card and that goes out into the internet world, they take that information, and then all of a sudden ads about that specific product that you just bought will start popping up on your news feeds and Facebook and everything else that you use. If you have an Amazon Echo in your house or some type of Google Home Nest and you spoken in front of these machines, you have no idea if that machine hears exactly what you're saying at that time, or if they're picking up on keywords that you're saying that they're hearing, and then all of a sudden they're taking those keywords when they're not supposed to be listening and making ads for you, targeting you to buy certain things. And that is exactly what happened to the father, and that is exactly what happened to Kristen too. And you can hear her get all defensive when she's talking to Ben, like, oh, why are they targeting me? I didn't do anything. Oh, yes you did, girly girl. Yes you did. We all do. We may not think that we do, but we all do. They target all of us. Now we have to say, because they're tapped into Leland's computer, this could suggest that he is privy to a lot of things on their own side and to other things on other people's side in the internet. And it probably is uniquely poised to influence his demonic type behavior and push him to doing things to other people through that media. And this is most likely how he found out about the father's gambling problem and that he owed a grip of money. And we could see that he is a cocky ass man, especially during this second attempt at an exorcism. Him screaming, "I'm melting." I mean, why would this guy think that he would actually be able to get away with that during an exorcism? I have no idea. He was very dramatic and it was extremely lame, and everybody watching it had to catch on to that. But when Sister Andrea got involved, switched up that holy water and hit him with him, and that steam started burning off him, all of a sudden, all of that cockiness just ran right out of his ass, boy. All of a sudden, he wasn't so cocky. He wasn't so sure of himself anymore. Because whether he's a demon or the devil himself, we are not sure about that. But he truly believed that, I'm just going to go in here and just play around. This holy water is not going to affect it. Now, did she switch it to some type of pneumonia or something like that? She did. But the point was to make this person not as comfortable anymore, and she definitely pulled that out. And at the end, we see the last straw that we get from this episode is why Sister Andrea will not join David on his quest, and that is due to the misogynistic ways of the Catholic Church. And a lot of other religions still treat women like garbage, even though every time she enters the room, she is 100% the smartest person in that room. Because she is a woman, she is held back, and that is the final demon zombie type situation that we get from this show. Them treating her like a zombie from the warehouse worker. You see her mopping the floors and scrubbing the floors, and that's what her job is supposed to be, and cleaning out these priests' bedrooms. That's all she's good for. I love the way that Sister Andrea just blew the father and Leland out of the water. And she came in there and blew them both up. And this shows you that, just because you're a woman does not mean that you are not as smart as these men, as the Catholic Church tries to put you out there. And the only thing you're good for is cleaning up. We see that she is the one who is the most capable out of everybody. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best episodes of the year. I think that this show hasn't had a bad episode all year. You let me know in the comment section how you feel. Listen, Paramount Plus is definitely making the play for your money, especially just with this show alone. I would suggest anyone to go ahead and subscribe to Paramount Plus if they're going to start putting out shows like this all the time, because Evil 100% is the best show on television at this particular time while it's airing. And the way that they jump between supernatural, psychological, and practical is done beautifully. Each character gets the chance to shine and show their wares in their own episode. Next episode, if you've seen the clip, it's back to supernatural again. We got a little bit with Ifrit in the room with Kristen, but we don't know exactly what that's all about. We'll talk about that at a later date. But you let me know in the comment section how you feel. I think we got 2 more episodes, and then it goes on break for a month, and then it comes back. So even when it's on break, we're going to still talk weekly about Evil. We'll do streams, we'll do something, we'll get it involved. Spread the word. Make sure you thumbs up this video. We need to hit 500 likes so that other people can join us in this discussion too. Please do so. And as always, subscribe. Hey, you know who it is. Peace. And stay sexy.